Hi, everyone. Welcome to the HeartSet podcast, the private podcast where the host changes and the guest stays the same. I'm Kim, your host for this episode, and today we're going to be discussing authenticity. And I'd like to introduce our sponsor and resident guest, Ramona Galey. Ramona helps leaders and aspiring leaders stop overthinking and reclaim the genius that they were born with. Ramona is passionate about empowering people to focus on what they truly want, to pursue their own dreams in spite of any old patterns and limiting beliefs. She credits these skills with actually saving her life, literally. Ramona is the founder of HeartSet Academy and the Alignment Circle Mastermind, which she facilitates with her spirit guides known as Oprah. So, welcome, Ramona. I'm so looking forward to our chat. It's great to be here with you today.
Thank you, Kim. I'm really glad to be here too. And thanks for coming on the show as my guest host. I'm still loving that concept. We're new enough that I still laugh about it every time.
Yes,
and
it's a great
I'm really
concept.
looking forward to our topic, authenticity. I love that.
Yes, I am as well. Yes. So let's go for it. Okay. Tell me, what is authenticity anyway?
Well, for me, authenticity is I'm going to just say it. This is how I think of it. It's the courage to be seen.
Okay.
To be seen for who I am, to be seen for what I am, for what I believe, what I want, what I focus on, to be the real true me in front of other people. Like, just to be clear, not seen out in the forest by the squirrels, actually being seen by people. Because that would be one way to get away from it, right? To
it
get
would
out.
Be.
Yes. But yeah, to be seen by people. So it's the ultimate in releasing any entanglement with the opinions of others. Like, what do people think about me? What are they going to think about, what I do or who I am or where I'm going or what I should or shouldn't be doing or thinking or saying or being, like, to just really release all of that. And that takes courage. It takes some confidence. It takes a lot of practice. It takes a lot of expansion. It for me anyway, and what I see in my clients. Yeah, it's a journey, and I wouldn't say I'm even finished with it yet by a long stretch, but I've come a long way, and it's something that I really, really, really value, and I love helping other people with it. So yeah.
So I love that. That's a really fresh definition and explanation of authenticity, and I like that a lot. It does take some courage to it. Are you saying that this is where we don't care what people think about us? We're just going to be who we are?
Yes. Now, I'm not saying that you have to 100% never, ever again in your whole life care what anybody thinks about you. I'm just saying that in other words, we don't spend our entire lives in alignment. Even the most aligned of us, we're in and out, in and out, in and out. It's that inherently unstable platform that Oprah's always talking about.
Right.
And so the trick is to be authentic as much as we can. And for me, it's meant stepping into who I truly am is actually stepping up. I really actually think of it as stepping up. Stepping up my game would be a way a lot of people have said it, up to the next level, leveling up. There's a lot of different ways of saying it, but it involves, the higher you go, it's kind of like, if you're looking for a vantage point to see, and you're in the valley, you climb the hill, you can see a lot further, but you can also be seen by everybody that you can see can also see you now. And so there's skill in it. There's practice in it. There's understanding in it, and there's the willingness to be seen, which is it's really pure courage in our society. It's really kind of frowned on. It feels like it's being frowned on. It's not really, but it feels like it. It feels like you can get shot down very easily over and over and over again if you're being seen. If somebody notices you, but but that it's stepping sort of around all of that and just being willing. So yeah.
Yes, especially, I think, if you've been used to being questioned about every single thing you do.
Sure.
As a child or as a young adult or whatever, to be called on the carpet frequently. I don't know.
Yeah. I was sitting in an Abraham Hicks workshop once, and I used to just take notes, religiously. And they said, okay, repeat after us. And so I thought, oh, I better write this down, right? I will never again in the whole room, like 1,000 people in the whole room, I will never again defend where I am, as if where I am is not perfect, So that was the sum total of it, right? And then they moved on. Well, I wrote that down really furiously because I could feel my entire body resonate with that. One of the first things, the very first thing that they said that my entire body resonate was, you came here eagerly. I heard that within a couple of weeks of Betty's death, and I sobbed like a baby for like 3 days over that, right? But this was one of those like that, a little bit less intense than that first one like that, but fairly early on in my journey, and really like, wow, like what a concept. Like, what if I'm perfectly fine just the way I am right here, right now, in this body, in this space, with these thoughts, with these talents or lack of talents or whatever. What if I'm actually perfect right here? What if I actually don't have to fix anything? It was a mind blow. That was the beginning of my authenticity journey. I can very clearly see that right back to that moment.
That's beautiful. Yes. Yeah, there is a certain relaxation when I hear that too, as many times as I've heard it, still.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So how can we do this? How can we achieve authenticity? What's some tools and techniques that you use to help with this?
So authenticity, it's going to be very similar to any relationship work, because my first relationship is with myself.
Yes.
And when I say myself, I mean source, my inner being, my true self, in other words.
Yes.
So it's my conscious human self with my true physical and non-physical integrated self.
Okay.
And so that relationship is everything. It's everything. And so accepting myself, my human non-integrated self, with by being accepted by my integrated self, is the first step. And so as I become willing to even say that, to even repeat those words out loud, I will never again defend where I am as if where I am is not perfect. To say that in our society is an act of revolution.
Ooh.
It's
Wow.
it's an act, it's a statement, it's an I am statement. I am fine, I am good, I am healthy, I am whole, I am right. I'm in the right place at the right time. I'm right just the way I am. Perfect is a word that's got some baggage to it. But within the context of that statement, I feel like it still really resonates. It doesn't feel like it has as much baggage in that, as
Yes, I
if it's
agree.
we're not perfect. So and it's kind of referring more to the place where we are rather than what we are. So I love that statement. I mean, it's a perfect statement. And so that's where I would start. If I were looking for authenticity, I would start with a relationship with my divine self and start really letting in that love. There's unconditional love there for all of us, always. And so when you start to let that love in, and you can do that in a million ways. I mean, I must teach 100 different ways of doing that, but do whatever it takes to start letting that love in, and start building that sense of self in relationship with the greater self, the one that loves me no matter what I do, no matter what I say, no matter what I think, no matter how many times I fail, no matter how many times I fall down, I'm loved. And so that's where it starts. And then it's just a matter of building that. So you start small, you start with just whatever you can find, and then you just add to it, and you add to it, and it starts to pile up, and it starts to to cascade, to turn into one of those, colloquial snowballs, where it just goes down the hill and it gets more and more and more and more snow to it. And by the time it reaches the bottom, it's this huge boulder. And because it just naturally, because like attracts like. So as soon as we start letting that love in, it brings more love. And the love brings appreciation. It brings resources. It brings all kinds of great feeling. It brings everything we need. We've already got everything we need. We're just keeping it out. So as soon as
Yes,
we let
right.
down the floodgates, as they call it, it just comes flooding in. And then it's just a matter of deciding, how much do I want to be seen? In what ways do I want to be seen? What do I want to be seen as? Like, in other words, who am I? What do I
Yes.
want? What do I want to bring to the world? Because
Mm-hmm.
now that I'm willing to be seen, capable of being seen, now that's a complete game changer. Now I can bring to the world whatever I think is most important. I can stop yelling at the news and complaining about how the world is, and I can start bringing what I
Mm-hmm.
want, be the change that you want to see.
Yeah.
Gandhi, I think, uh,
Mm-hmm.
be the change, be the world that I want. I get to be the world that I want. And in being it, I become it. And the people, anybody around me who's the least bit attracted to it, become it also. So I'm actually bringing the change to the world. That's the motivating, the carrot on the stick in a way.
Yeah.
But really, it's just feeling better. It just feels good. I can't even describe how good it feels to me to be seen after having spent 60 years of my life afraid of being seen. It's
Yes.
a game changer. It's a,
Yes.
it's a it's a light bulb moment. It's a continuous, for me, continuous light bulb moment going off into infinity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great. That's really great. Um, do you think that that first step is just more of a decision?
Yes.
Like then we might not feel it right now, but just
Yes.
decide that that's how we're going to operate.
Absolutely. Every decision is just exactly the way you described it perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
It's a decision that you don't necessarily feel right away.
Mm-hmm.
I would say maybe 3/4 of the times I don't feel the decision right away. Sometimes I do, but more often I
Mm-hmm.
don't.
Mm-hmm.
I can feel the what's the word? Well, just resonance. I can feel the resonance of the decision as I make it a lot of
Mm-hmm.
times, but sometimes I don't even feel that. Sometimes I just say, you know what, from now on, whatever. And then
Uh-huh.
I just move right on because I know there's
Okay.
incredible power in that decision, and I don't have to second guess it or chew on it or try to make it show up right away. But in the beginning, I did a little bit of that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
the decision. Yeah.
I kind of think about some sort of public speaking, that's oh my God, that's always been a real, uh, sometimes because I can hide, I mean, I could be the wallflower, the chameleon, but to step out and actually say, I have something to say and I'm going to say it. You might do that with trepidation and fear and trembling, but once you do it, there's a little bit of momentum
Yes.
behind it.
Beautifully
And the
said.
sky didn't fall and nobody threw rocks at me.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of reminds me of, I used to be afraid of heights.
Uh-huh.
And then after I walked on hot coals, I was a little bit afraid of coals too on my feet, but I walked on hot coals in a Tony Robbins event. And
Mm-hmm.
then I started thinking, I started rewriting my entire past.
Oh.
Part of that,
Oh.
this is all before Abraham, but it was part of that whole workshop was releasing any old limiting beliefs. And he takes
Mm-hmm.
you, he
Mm-hmm.
basically mass hypnotizes the entire audience. And when we went out to walk on those coals, we were all in a trance. I mean, it was really cool. But it proved to me that, first of all, I can change my state to change my life. That's his big
Mm-hmm.
deal. And second of all, that my belief system is much more powerful than anything that's physically going on. Because everybody knows that red hot coals burn flesh, right? That is just like, put your hand on a hot stove as a kid, you learn. Anything
Yeah.
burning red hot, don't touch it.
Mm-hmm.
And yet I walked across those coals. So after that, I started testing some other limiting beliefs about, my so-called fear of heights. And I ended up going skydiving. And people say, well, how on earth did you do that? I could never do that. To which I always say, go to iFly first.
Mm-hmm.
iFly is that indoor, like wind tunnel that goes vertical instead of horizontal, and you can basically fly in the wind tunnel with a instructor standing right there, adjusting your arms and your legs, teaching you how to, and you assume this certain position that's right for skydiving and
Mm-hmm.
for iFlying. And so because I had done that first, it's not that I set out to do that. I was with Lordella, actually the woman who helped save my life about a week after birth,
Uh-huh.
and we both went. We had gone to Disney together, and we went to the iFly, and she was game for it, and we did it together. And then, so then it was just like the next logical step. to jump out of an airplane. And so I was not afraid at all. I thought I, maybe was going to be very, very nervous, very shut down, maybe emotionally, maybe even chicken out and not be able to make myself do it. The exact opposite happened. I was like in a euphoric state the entire time.
Wow.
And and the only reason I even know that is because the guy, I'm strapped to my back is strapped to his front. He's my instructor basically. He's done 5,000 jumps. I've done 0. So it was a good thing to have him along. So he had the chute and all that stuff, but he had a GoPro on his wrist, and he kept putting the GoPro. It was set to go off, like take a picture like every second. So he kept putting his wrist out in front of me. And so I have pictures of this experience that for me, I experienced as the first time I had ever been in my entire life without the observer present, without some voice saying, well, now you're doing this and now you're doing that, and this is going to happen, and this is why you're doing it. Like a narrator, kind of like an over voice, an overdubbed narrator of my life. The first time in my life that I could remember really being like, especially for an extended period of time, not just a second or two, but really no observer and totally present in the moment. And then I've got this photographic evidence of this just absolute euphoria on my face as we're waiting to jump and as we're jumping and afterwards. And so to me, all of that is a really great representation of this authenticity thing, because that's a very visceral fear, jumping out of an airplane, right? Or walking on hot coals. And so is being seen.
Yes.
It's very different from most of the other fears because it's illogical, but it's very visceral.
Yeah.
Like, what's going to happen to me? I'm going to die. I'm going to die if this goes wrong. And I know it's going to go wrong. It always has, right? Like it's a huge fear. So start small, be very gentle with yourself, and do it the inner work first. It's kind of like going to the iFly first. Like learning the position, getting your body used to that, getting used to the idea of just being weightless, of not actually being feet on the ground or in the water or anything, like just being in the air. And it's just like that. So, practice on videos. Like if you want to be a public speaker, I would say videotape you. Well, first start looking in the mirror. Just look right into your eyes in the mirror, and then try something like making some videotapes, not to share with anybody, even just make some videotapes, make some reels or whatever you call them, and then post them or not. And then, and you kind of work your way up, but just be really gentle with yourself, because it's a big deal. And it's a big reversal of what most of us are taught. What do you think? You think you're the center of the universe? How many kids?
Right. Yes. Right.
And the fact is you are.
Who do you think you are? Yeah.
You think you're God because you are.
Because you are. Yeah. I love that.
So that's the rewrite. But that takes courage. That takes courage.
You think that's the trickiest aspect of this, is the courage to do it?
Yeah, the faith, the courage, a lot of people say feel the fear and do it anyway. To me, it's the faith part of it. Once you have the faith, the courage is an expression of the faith. In other words, you're not forcing yourself to try to be brave in the face of fear. What I would focus on, and what I did focus on and do focus on, is the faith, which I can prove to myself over and over and over again when I need to. It's just like gravity. You know how kids test gravity? They drop the thing off the high chair, and you pick it up and put it up there, and they drop it again, pick it up, you put it there, they drop it again, pick it up, you put it there, they drop it again. They're testing gravity. Like, wow.
Is that what they're doing? Testing gravity?
Part of it.
Not testing mom.
Part of it's just the joy of seeing somebody do something and having some control over something, because,
but I
at that age, you don't have any control. But yeah, they're also just saying, wow, every time I let go of that thing, it goes there. Every time I let go of that thing, it goes there. Every time I let go of that thing, it goes there. There's something going on here, and it's the same way as we test our faith, as we seek faith. We were born with faith. The only natural fear we're born with is the fear of falling. Every other fear we've got right now, whoever you are, whatever age you're at, whatever fear you're experiencing, you learned it. Somebody taught it to you, or you taught it to yourself in the natural world or whatever. You learned it. You can unlearn it. And the easiest way to unlearn every single fear on the planet is to find the opposite of fear, which is love. Love and faith, kind of the same thing. So a lot of people think that hate is the opposite of love, but fear is the opposite of love.
Right. Yeah.
So find the love, and you can find the love very easily by appreciating a glass of water. You can appreciate a blade of grass or a tree or a bird. You can appreciate something. Everybody can appreciate something. And as you start to appreciate, you're building faith. You appreciate more, you build more faith. Appreciate, appreciate, appreciate. Faith, faith, faith. Pretty soon, fear has lost its edge.
That's very powerful. Love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much. This was so helpful.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, I didn't really resonate with authenticity. Now I like it a lot.
Yay! I remember you saying that when the topic first came up, and you were like, "Huh, I don't really understand authenticity. I'm going to ask that one."
Yes,
That was great. So good for you. That was an act of faith on your part.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is great. Thank you again for being here and letting me be here and host this. It's been beautiful.
You are so welcome.
Pleasure.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Very, very much pleasurable. Thank you.
Bye. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to another HeartSet podcast production. If you would like to be considered as a host for the show, send us your topic idea and 1 to 3 sample questions at contact@ramonagaley.com. Thank you.